People are tackling some of the toughest jobs in the United States Navy. That group, women. Fox 6's Suzanne Spencer traveled to Virginia to find out how Wisconsin women are closing the gender gap.
These ladies have made their own paths through some very tough jobs and many years at it. Some say the opportunities have been just as fruitful for them, and others say more work needs to be done. For women serving in the Navy,
it's by no means easy.
They may soar to high places.
I love what I do, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
They may sink to low places.
It's definitely a challenge at times.
And take you to a lot of loud places.
And this job is extremely fast-paced, and it does not let up.
But there was a time and a place in the Navy when women weren't allowed to serve in combat.
Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
25 years ago, Captain Amy Bauernschmidt wouldn't have been allowed to put on this hood, take part in an emergency drill, or even step foot on an aircraft carrier in combat.
Up until that point, all the previous classes that had graduated, the women did not have that opportunity.
1993 was a big year for the Milwaukee native and thousands of women after her.
It allowed women in combat to a certain extent for the first time. So for the United States Navy, what it did was it opened up our ability to go on warships in areas of conflict.
Hey, it's EXO.
Fast forward a quarter of a century, and Bauernschmidt is now in line to become the first female to command an aircraft carrier in the history of the Navy.
Roger.
It was exciting because, you know, the Naval Academy was founded to produce officers that would lead troops into combat. And so this was the first time that we knew that we could be a part of that mission.
It's hard. It's definitely hard, but it's not impossible.
On land, Heartland native Casey Bellman works on helicopters to keep them safe in the skies.
90% of the people that I work with are men.
She hasn't stopped climbing the ladder towards higher positions as an aviation mechanic, despite more men in the field.
That is one thing that did worry me a little bit because there are so very few females in my rate that they would be kind of like, well, she's a female, she doesn't know what she's talking about. But that definitely is not what happens.
They're working in dangerous conditions and often with heavy parts.
Being as small as I am and being a female, you do kind of get, how do I say it? They underjudge you. They don't think you can do it. So it is a lot of like proving myself, which helped me learn a lot about myself actually. I was able to see how far I could push myself, and I'm actually capable of a lot more than I thought.
On board the Lincoln, women make up roughly 16% of sailors.
Very few times in my life have I actually sat there and thought about the fact that I was a woman doing this, because for the most part I was just treated as a naval officer and an aviator, and then somewhere in 5th or 6th place, oh well, she's a woman.
Hi, senior.
Some of those early on in their career are watching Bauernschmidt as she continues to rise.
The only way you walk around the ship is to get a safe route.
And that's kind of inspiring, like, one day, us as women here, we could, get to that point if we not, strive for it.
It didn't matter in my community, race, color, creed, religion. They just needed somebody who could get the job done. So if you could get the job done, you were going to do well. And that was the end of the story.
A story that's not over for women across the Navy, because opening even one door could craft a new story.
I think I need 10 push-ups.
Women are filling more and more roles throughout the U.S. Navy, and resources for them are growing as well. For example, on the Abraham Lincoln, women's health is the #1 most used service. Reporting in the newsroom, Suzanne Spencer, Fox 6 News.